Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We're looking at a story that is frankly completely wild. Imagine being a weak, painfully shy high schooler, right? And suddenly, out of nowhere, you're thrown into the terrifying, absolute high-stakes reality of a 3,000-year-old celestial game. So no, this is not your average high school drama. This is a desperate, full-on race for survival where ancient mythology literally collides with modern-day life. And trust me, the consequences for failing, they are absolute.
So put yourself in his shoes for a second. What would you actually do if you woke up and found out your totally normal life was just over, replaced by this brutal battleground right in your own school hallways? Because in this tournament, 12 zodiac spirits have descended to Earth and they have to possess human girls to survive. And our main guy, Woo Jion, well, he's stuck right smack in the absolute middle of the whole shebang, forced to act as the referee in a deadly game he never even asked to play.
Now, the absolutely crucial thing to understand here are the brutal rules. These are laid out by his brand new guide, a 3,000-year-old cat spirit named Tanal. Basically, Woo Jin gets slapped with the title of the judge. His mission? Simple on paper, impossible in reality. He has to track down all 12 human hosts, convince them to formally accept the tournament, and get this, he has exactly 100 days to do it. If that ticking clock runs out, Woo Jin loses his life, and the girls' souls are permanently devoured by the gods possessing them. No pressure, right?
But of course, there's a massive catch. To survive here on Earth, these super powerful spirits burn through a resource called divine power. If they run out, their human hosts die, period. And the only way they can recharge? Physical contact with Woo Jin. So this creates a kind of hilarious but honestly terrifying nightmare for our shy protagonist. I mean, these incredibly dangerous, fiercely competitive spirits literally have to cling to him constantly just to avoid draining their human hosts completely dry.
And as we're going to see, Woo Jin quickly realizes these spirits aren't just possessing random strangers on the street. No, they are specifically choosing girls deeply connected to his own life. It all starts with Nina, the ancient cat guide who literally just moves into his bedroom. But things escalate really fast when his fiercely protective childhood friend Raven gets taken over by the rabbit spirit. Suddenly, his best friend is literally leaping over buildings and fighting just to keep control of her own body.
Okay, so things go from weird to deadly, like instantly. What should have been just a totally routine visit to the school nurse to grab something for a headache, yeah, it turns into a terrifying fight for survival. Turns out, the school nurse has been possessed by a massive snake spirit, and unlike the rabbit, let me tell you, this spirit is completely hostile, just wildly aggressive, and totally starving for divine power.
The snake just goes into absolute berserker mode. It completely overpowers Nina the cat, nearly crushes her to death, and then brutally attacks Raven, draining the rabbit's divine power completely dry. So picture this, both of his protectors are knocked unconscious, and there's a giant snake closing in to devour him. Woo Jin is pushed right to his absolute physical and mental breaking point.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates his first major turning point in the story. Cornered and absolutely desperate to save his friends, Woo Jin finally awakens his own dormant judge ability. This massive, glowing yin-yang barrier of divine energy just erupts from his body. In this blinding flash, it completely neutralizes the giant snake, freezes it dead in its tracks, and literally forces the spirit to submit to the tournament's rules. It's our very first hint that Woo Jin is secretly carrying some unbelievable power.
Now, what's really fascinating is how the game doesn't just test his survival skills. It starts twisting reality and testing his character. Take his former high school bully, a popular girl named Hygiene. She gets chosen by the pig spirit. The possession completely alters her. She randomly gains immense weight and this terrifying superhuman strength. Almost overnight, she goes from being the undisputed queen of the school to a total outcast, hiding in absolute terror from her own new body.
But here's the kicker. Instead of getting revenge on the girl who made his life miserable, which, let's be honest, a lot of people would do, Woo Jin actually steps up. He corners her, calms her down, and helps Hygiene officially accept the tournament. This awakens her spirit, returns her to normal, and surprisingly, it turns a former bitter enemy into a massive heavy hitter for his growing team. It's this huge moment of character growth, really proving that true strength isn't just about overpowering your enemies, it's about having the empathy to help them.
But look, the threats are escalating way faster than he can handle, and this is perfectly demonstrated by Ji-hoon, the quiet, unassuming school librarian. She becomes the host for the sheep spirit, but man, something goes terribly wrong here. She turns into a terrifying yandere, like a dark, obsessed protector who violently hunts down anyone who has ever bullied Woo Jin.
She brutally beats the pig spirit, cleverly uses literal catnip to torture Nana the cat, and ruthlessly steals half of the rabbit's divine power right from Raven. It's intense.
So, realizing he absolutely cannot beat her in a fistfight, Woojin uses himself as bait. It's a bold move. He manages to corner the sheep and actually captures her spirit by surprising her with a strategic hug to force the tournament pact. But here is the truly terrifying part. While the violent sheep spirit is technically tamed, Ji-hoon's very human, very dark obsession with Woojin, yeah, that hasn't gone anywhere. She is honestly just getting started.
At this point, the tension is reaching a boiling point. So, to blow off some steam, and frankly, to keep a really close eye on their highly unstable new ally, the entire group heads to a local amusement park for a fun, relaxing day off. But as you can probably guess, what was supposed to be a simple day of cotton candy and rides actually sets the cinematic stage for a massive, completely unprecedented confrontation.
Right at the exact moment Ji-hoon musters the courage to confess her obsessive feelings to Woojin at the very top of the Ferris wheel, disaster strikes. A mysterious new enemy, wielding this incredibly complex divine power, just hijacks the entire ride. The giant wheel starts violently spinning backward at deadly, bone-crushing speeds. And then, in a truly terrifying, jarring twist, every single normal attendee in the whole park suddenly vanishes into thin air.
With his team totally trapped and facing certain death, Woojin steps fully into his role as a leader. He unlocks a whole new layer of his powers. He can actually see the flow of divine energy now. Realizing he can transfer massive amounts of power all at once, he delivers these rapid, super high-stakes forehead blessings to the girls. Surging with this overcharged divine energy, the Zodiacs literally drop into full demon mode, hitting the ground and using raw, earth-shattering brute strength to physically rip the spinning Ferris wheel to a grinding halt.
As the dust finally settles, they spot the attacker. It's an unknown modern girl in sneakers, just casually watching them from the shadows. Before they can even think about retaliating, poof, she vanishes instantly into the smoke. This chilling encounter is a massive wake-up call. It proves that the remaining uncaptured spirits aren't just hiding out there. They are highly coordinated, they're powerful, and they are actively hunting the judge and his team.
So, taking a quick stock of where we actually are right now, Woojin has successfully gathered a third of the Zodiacs. We've got the rabbit, snake, pig, and sheep all alongside his guide, the cat. But there are still 8 completely unknown Zodiacs out there somewhere, and that 100-day clock is just relentlessly ticking down. However, the rapid succession of capturing all these super powerful spirits triggers something nobody saw coming.
See, Woojin's human body was never, ever meant to handle this much ancient energy this quickly. Because he's capturing Zodiacs at breakneck speed, his divine vessel is forced to violently and rapidly adapt to this agonizing, massive influx of power. And this leads to a literal overnight physical transformation that absolutely shocks everyone at his high school.
We are talking about a complete, undeniable glow-up here. The short, weak, nearsighted outcast from day one, completely gone. Actually, scratch that. It's more like he was replaced. He wakes up as a towering, broad-shouldered, muscular powerhouse who radiates this commanding presence. He doesn't even need his glasses anymore. The sheer power of the judge has physically rewritten his DNA to make absolutely sure he can handle the battles ahead. But as you can see, he doesn't have a single second to celebrate his new strength. Just as he's kind of adjusting to his new body, an old childhood friend unexpectedly arrives from the US and moves in right next door, completely throwing his already chaotic personal life into total disarray. And at the exact same time, the highly anticipated fifth spirit, the dragon, is spotted in the city, casually wielding terrifying shadow magic and already plotting its next big move. So, I'm going to leave you with this to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. As the enemies out there grow exponentially stronger and that 100-day clock loudly ticks down, can Woojin actually master his rapidly evolving abilities in time to save his friends and track down the elusive dragon? Or will the crushing weight of the celestial game ultimately consume them all? It's a wild ride, and you won't want to miss what happens next.